welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder Real Play podcast. I am your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azarketti bard.
I'm Joel, and I play Dax, a kobold rogue.
Ryan, and I play Tough, an automaton inventor.
Taryn, and I play Waltz, a human champion.
Reynard, Keanu de las Nubes. I play a Kitsune swashbuckler.
That's right. Yes, Josh is back. He is... sorry, I don't want to say the entire thing in the same tune that you guys did as I talk about Josh and all the awesome stuff he's made. He is the GM, producer, and all that for the Titans of Altera podcast and the longtime player of the Sneak Attack podcast. So yes, he is joining with us once again, even though I'm about to kill his character. If you listen to the last episode, you know he's already dead. So thank you for joining us for one last episode, Josh.
I'm super happy to be here, and I have to shout out, I'm actually a cast member on season 2 of another podcast called Cast Fireball.
That's right.
Check
that one out
as
well.
Pirate adventure, so I get to be a pirate a little bit.
Now it's 5e2, right?
Hey, I like
5e.
pirates.
Yep.
Man, that's so ironic because Don Renard hates pirates apparently, and yet you play one. Wow, dude!
I play a rabbit character in that one. I guess I'm big on animals right now.
Aren't those called like hoppers or something?
Haragons. Yeah.
Haragons. Oh, okay.
So I'm a Haragon helmsman.
It sounded like a racist term you'd use for rabbits or something. So really sorry about that if I offended your character.
No, not at all. Super happy to be here, ready to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Last time on Mortals and Portals. The party all woke up in the cave. Dax had this dream, vision, and then awoke, and he had some wings that sprouted out of his back, and apparently we decided these are just like disgusting, smelly wings. Really sorry about ruining that for you,
kill
Josh.
him with fire.
Yeah, I don't know. We were all just feeding off one another, and next thing you know, he's got just stinky wings. And then we also found out that Don Renard is a Kitsune. So like a fox creature, and the magic he was using to appear as a human was starting to wear off, and he was gradually changing his appearance and inheriting some fox-like traits, and then the jig was up, so he just revealed his true form. Then we also just talked about like how Dax had seen a creature like this before, and how that was Zorak, who was actually Raoul, and then it got them all talking about Zig, the kobold that Dax also knows, and this made Tough like really skeptical of Dax because he has he's a little suspicious of Dax due to some conversations he's had in the past, and he started to piece some things together. Perhaps we don't really know everything that he knows, but he's not really hiding the fact that he is skeptical of Dax. And then Renard decided to see if he could get a better feel for where the Flor de Vida is, because he just knew the general direction, and Josh nat 20'd, so he knew exactly where it was, and he could tell that it was dangerously low on energy, far lower than it should be if it was merely plucked from its soils and just left to its own devices for this time. So something was clearly being done to it. So he just grabbed Zoki, hopped on Cervantes, and just took off towards this direction while the rest of Digsby's crew sprinted after him and found these ruins, landed. Didn't do very well on his perception check, didn't really know what was going on, and he just sprinted into this pyramid, these ancient ruins, and he found what looked like the Flor de Vida on top of this pedestal, this like very tall pillar of stairs, and there was this cloaked figure with a bushy beard and glowing eyes and all this stuff, and he looked at him and he like started glowing with the same Baja Blast colored, which is like light blue, I guess. I don't know if they have Baja Blasts like all over the world, but Americans know Baja Blast color.
Except for Taryn.
Yeah, and he used this power to raise a bunch of dead soldiers flanking Don Renard on all sides that he didn't notice with his bad perception check and reckless entry, and now he is surrounded by perhaps hundreds of undead soldiers, completely surrounded on all sides and facing this person who is holding the Flora de Vida without Digsby's crew. Yeah, and that is where we ended our session. So that is where we will start our session, Don Renard.
You sure you don't want to start with the other guys running in the woods? That would be that'd be okay with me.
No, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You are surrounded by undead soldiers in this dark pyramid. Perhaps a little bit of light is creeping in through some cracks in the ceiling, but it's very faint, and most of the light is behind you from the doorway and then also just the glow emanating from the eyes of these undead soldiers. You can tell they look very much like the ones you fought in Mazivo, though this time instead of their eyes glowing green, it has now changed to this bluish hue, matching the Flora de Vida. And far up this pillar of stairs is this stocky figure and rag-like cloak with a white bushy beard, also glowing eyes, and they are merely staring down at you with an army of soldiers in between you. What do you do?
I mean, I've got my sword out, but he will kind of gesture and say, "Stay close to me, Zoki."
Dom Renard, this isn't good. These are like the ones back at the coffee shop, and that was. There's no way.
This is wrong. What are you doing with the Flora de Vida? It should not be used for these purposes. Are any of the zombies like making a move, or are they just kind of like surrounding us, like holding us here?
These creatures have more or less just made a formation around you, making sure you're encircled on all sides, but they are clearly paused and not just recklessly attacking you. They are showing some sort of restraint.
I think Reynard for sure knows that like he doesn't want to make the first move here. If they're not attacking, he's gonna try and see if he can prolong or wait it out. He does not want to engage against what is clearly an overwhelming force.
So maybe your blade is just out as you're spinning in circles, checking all sides, making sure Zoki is tight behind you.
But his shout was definitely intended for the bearded fellow.
Right. And you hear a surprisingly weak voice kind of carry down the stairs at you, maybe echoing a little bit off the walls. Surprisingly loud for how weak it's being spoken, though. And you hear,
"And what do you know of the purpose of the Flora de Vida? You did not create it."
It is of my home. It's of my people. Its magic is in me. It is in my blade. It is part of who I am. This is not what it is meant to be used for. It was used to save my home from one of the keepers of Keldora.
And now it will be used for something else by another keeper.
and his eyes flare blue.
What?
How dare you insinuate you are a keeper? The keepers protect the worlds. You are manipulating them in the darkest of ways. This is not what the keepers do. Do not believe your claim. You are a foul pretender of a keeper, using power that is not rightfully yours, that has been stolen.
Can you roll me a will save?
I'm an expert at will saves. 30.
30. The figure atop this pillar of stairs, as you're yelling at them, speaking with authority and passion and power, you see them tilt their head down, almost in anger, as their eyes start to glow even more brilliantly with this blue aura. You can tell there is the power of the Flora de Vida in them more than any one individual has ever siphoned this power. And as their head tilts down, you simply hear, "On your knees!" And you simply drop your blade and drop to one knee as you feel this surge of power wash over you, not realizing how you cannot resist this, feeling very powerful in your stance as you said this, yet this magic
strong,
just washed over you.
Zoki, are you alright?
You look over and Zoki is on her knees as well.
What was that? This isn't good.
This is wrong. Nothing good will be accomplished by what you are doing.
There is one node on this island. It did not align yesterday, yet you and your crew activated it all the same. So, which of you is a keeper?
And with that, we will cut to Digsby's crew running through the jungle.
Jules, you sure this is the way, right?
I will cast No Direction once more, just to double check. Yes, straight ahead. He went this way for sure.
So the four of you run for some time, almost letting your lungs give out, just sprinting. Jules, you do remember seeing roughly where Cervantes landed, and you're keeping your direction consistent, and you know it's only a matter of time before you intercept it. Can you all roll me a perception check?
That's a big whopping 11.
9. Also 20.
Twins.
Dax and Tuff, maybe Jules pauses for a moment on a branch to catch his breath. He's up ahead of you, knowing he can wait just a little bit as you guys catch up. And as you come shoulder to shoulder with him, you can see beyond the immediate trees in front of you that there is a subtle clearing, and you can see ruins up ahead with a massive pyramid, as I described, like tiers, and it's very worn down, covered in moss, vines, and all of that. And you can see some wagons outside of the only visible entrance to this pyramid. And you see Smith nervously pacing back and forth.
Smith! And Tough will run up to Smith, make sure he's all right.
Whoa, Tough. Wait a second. And so you said there was a wagon, right?
Yep.
Yeah, can I, take a second to... Okay, I see that, try to investigate anything that's weird? Or would that have been included already?
Sure, if you want to. Yep.
Okay.
While Dax is doing that, Tough is just going to shove him away and say, "Hands off, that's my friend right there," and continue on my way towards Smith.
That's fitting, because I got a nat 1.
Nice.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, Dax, you're just looking back and forth, and you see Tough stepping out there. You can tell that Don Renard is nearby. You don't hear any signs of struggle or yelling or any signs of danger. And you feel like if there was, Cervantes would be with Don Renard. So you simply feel like, it looks like the coast is clear. We should maybe go check out this pyramid.
Looks clear, everybody. Let's go.
That sucks for you, man.
Shut up.
I love your guys' bad rolls.
Did I notice the wagon? I only got a 9.
Yeah, you didn't notice it, but as you guys are kind of standing there, you might maybe notice a little bit more. If you want to roll something.
Yeah, can I just roll to see if I can tell what might be in the wagon?
Yeah.
23.
Well, it says you maybe slowly walk up to these wagons for a moment, hearing Dax say, coast is clear, let's go in. But you're very curious about these wagons, so you sort of walk off for a moment and go up to a few of them. You can see there's blood all over them and some drag marks from the wagon, maybe heading towards the pyramid. And as you stare at this wagon a little bit, something catches your eye as you see maybe a leather strap that'd be used for a sword sheath resting in the wagon, and pick it up for a moment and see it has the sigil of the Eisenhelm Alliance, the metal helmet. You can tell that whoever had this was a soldier fighting in Mandaru, most likely, just as you did, which would make sense because it is nearby.
Dax, Jules, get over here. Look at this.
Hey, what's up?
What is it, Walt?
I'll hold up that sheath with the emblem on it, or the sigil. This is the same uniform I wore.
And it's the same mark on your neck.
Yeah, maybe I'll kind of hold it up and they'd be able to see the sigil, and I'll turn my neck to match the two.
That's a lot of blood in the cart. I suppose at that point I could maybe notice the drag marks as well. Maybe,
Yeah.
Zach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, you guys heard it. He said I could.
Yeah,
Okay.
This doesn't look good, guys.
Perhaps we should proceed with caution.
Yeah, we better be careful.
As you say that, you hear from the opening of the pyramid, "Dax, you wily son of a gun." And you look up, and sitting on top of the opening, up on the pyramid outside with you, you see Zig, and he's scanning, and he goes, "Ah, and the cat, and the famous jewels of the Black Dawn. I don't know this guy, sorry. You don't look very significant to me. Good to see you're all in one piece."
Why am I not surprised to see you here?
I assume this is Zig?
Oh, you told him my real name. Oh, man, I was enjoying that. Yo, Dax, can you believe they thought my name was Bolthorn? Like the dragon. Oh my goodness, I'm a kobold, idiot.
Can I kill him now?
Only the lowest would steal the reputation of a dragon, Zig.
Well, he's dead. And it's not my fault. These guys don't know the dragon lore. I mean, it's a pretty crucial part of Keldora. Sheesh. And he grabs a vine and slides down and lands on his feet, standing in the mouth of the pyramid. And he's stretching.
Anyways, as much as I'd like to, catch up, banter with you guys, give you a hard time for being a terrible shot with the rifle, by the way. You should look into that. My boss wants to talk to you guys, and he's got your fancy friend and the rat. Yeah, you might want to get in there. I think he's about to kill him. Anyways, this way. And he turns around and just starts strolling into the pyramid like nothing's going on.
God, you hate a cocky personality that can back it up. That's the worst.
I want to shoot him.
Tough will have finished calming down Smith and call out towards Zig. It was a pistol, not a rifle. Who's the dummy now, huh? Jeez.
He pauses like he's going to say something, looking over his shoulder, and then just shakes his head like, whatever. Keeps walking.
Hey, Bluey, I'm talking to you.
Still walking. As you start to see him slowly disappear into darkness. And he pauses and turns around. He knows you're here. Let's go.
And then Tough, as he's still sort of calming down Smith, will look at the rest of the group and then motion towards Zig. Well, we gonna go?
Suppose you don't have much choice.
Yeah, I'm with Jules here. I gotta keep our head on a swivel, though. Zig's never passed up an opportunity to screw me over.
Oh, yes, this is undoubtedly a trap.
Waltz?
I think Waltz will
He's
be...
just looking at the belt, just like, huh.
This looks like what's on my neck.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Well, I was thinking that. So I think Waltz would be looking down at this belt and kind of like reliving his last days with his like fellow comrades, and probably, kind of be caught in a trance and pretty oblivious to like anything else that's going on. As he kind of relives that day, after he kind of snaps to, he'll take his old worn sheath off of his belt, drop it to the ground, and replace it with this one from Eisenhelm. And he'll put his sword in that sheath, and then wait a sec and take it right back out as he kind of looks determined and walks towards the others.
Taking your sword out. What the
Oh, yeah,
heck,
dude. He killed one of my homies. He killed one of the home slices, dude. Maybe multiple.
Never used your sword for us.
Yeah.
Killed Ryu.
Yeah, that's very true, honestly. He puts his sword back.
I like it.
What's that quote? Beware the wrath of a gentle man.
Hey, Jules, you got any words of encouragement here?
Are you requesting that I cast Inspire Courage?
Yes.
Jules, we'll look forward with determination. Let us not forget who we are. And yeah, he'll cast Inspire Courage for the group. So there you go.
Does that last one round?
Thank you. Oh, yeah.
So you guys take 5 steps and then it wears off?
Like 6 seconds.
Just kidding.
There's
It's
no
cool, I like it.
exploration mechanic part of that. You can't just like bless someone for a second.
Can't just be cool.
Can he
That's
just like
cool.
ready
Yeah,
action it?
I'll
for
give
when
it.
you
I
strike
would
on
give it to you guys for if you do.
It's like a ready action.
Yeah.
It's like a ready
It's
action.
like, don't
type of thing.
remember who we are
So
yet.
you can remember that he said
Wait.
that. When the time
Right. Remember who we are as soon as somebody does something.
And then Jules gets
And
stepped on
10,
by a giant T-Rex.
9.
Like right where he enters. All right.
Not again!
Does this one shoot lightning
So
too?
we spent another 2 episodes killing another T-Rex right before this like insane cliffhanger. And then it's just like 3 episodes later, Zig's like, all right, let's go. This way.
After Jules casts his Inspire Courage, Tuff's just going to kind of tug on Jules' clothes and make eyes at like Dax and say, be careful.
I'll look at him confused.
And right now, Tuff just doesn't want to say anything out loud, but in Tuff's mind, hearing Jules earlier mention thought of this definitely being a trap, and Tuff thinking, yeah, keep an eye out.
Oh.
Yeah, Jules will kind of look at him confused and then kind of give him a little head shake and keep looking forward. Maybe grip his pistol in preparation.
So you all follow Zig into this pyramid. And as you enter and it gets darker, just with the light spilling in from outside, Zig looks over his shoulder. It's a bit of a full house in here. And you look ahead and you just see a mass of bodies in a cluster, as if they're surrounding something. Out of the way, you oafs! And you see some of the figures step to the side and slowly turn and see that they are similar to the ones you fought in Mazivo. the gray, lifeless skin, black ooze coming from their teeth. Only this time their eyes glow blue instead of green as they did when you first encountered them, and you can see they're filling the room.
What is all this?
Zig, what have you gotten into?
I'm moving up in the world, baby.
Tough is just going to keep intense focus on both Zig and Dax, not trusting that there's not potential cahoots or something going on here.
And Waltz, you are instantly, as you're making your way through this crowd, recognizing sigils of Eisenhelm and Alliance, so some from Eisenhelm and some subtle nods and sigils of Billerod, where you're from as well. And you can tell that these are soldiers that were fighting in Mandaru. And you do also see some orcs and goblins and hobgoblins. So there are members of both sides of the conflict in Mandaru making up this force around you.
Dax, I don't understand. We were fighting these orcs and hobgoblins. It wouldn't make any sense for all of these to be here.
Yeah, I don't like this. Can I take a second to look to see if they have like mortal wounds, stab wounds, or whatever? Or are they all?
Do they have any portal wounds?
Yeah, you can roll a perception check.
That's a
And you
good one,
guys
Adam.
notice as you're making your way through the mass and they part for you, they close behind you, trapping you as you enter.
Dax, whenever we find out what's causing this, I'm gonna sprint up to it as fast as I can, and I need you with me.
Oh God.
Pass.
No thanks.
We still got to do my perception check. I got a 27.
Yeah, Dax, you're studying the crowd as you move your way through, using your expertise on just anatomy and healing and looking for signs of wounds. And you can tell that they all died of some sort of typical combat wound, like maybe from an arrow, some from swords, axes, some burned. You can see a lot of them have like crisp skin, like they were caught in fire. Although all the ones you see that look like that are almost all like exclusively not of the goblinoids, so more on the Eisenhelm side. And you do see that like those wounds they had are kind of subtly healing over time as they're standing there slowly.
Sure.
Which would kind of be consistent with what you saw when you were fighting before, like when their necks would snap back and then kind of snap into place. They do seem to gradually take on a more lifelike looking form over time.
Absolutely. Got it.
As those doors close behind us, Tuff's just gonna go, ah, crap. And he's just gonna take his gun out and keep leading Smith with his other hand.
And Zig looks over his shoulder.
I've seen the way you shoot. Not enough bullets in the world for you to kill all these suckers. If you could, anyways.
Probably enough to kill you.
Yeah, please don't do that. But if you do, trust me, you'll pay. You guys aren't really in control here if you haven't figured that out yet.
Tell us what's going on, Zig.
And spoil all the fun? Nah, that's not my job. This way.
After some time, you make your way through much of the cluster into a small opening and see Don Renard and Zoki on their knees as if they're struggling to not be on their knees. But they are also surrounded by these soldiers in front of them, behind them, on all sides. And this small clearing gives you an opportunity to look upwards, and you do see a pillar of stairs. And atop these stairs is a stout, dwarf-like humanoid with rag robes. Holes in them just look ragged and dirty, and a white, bushy beard and glowing blue eyes that match the color of these soldiers. And they're holding something in their hands that is glowing blue as well. As they slowly start to descend the stairs, Dax, immediately you recognize this figure because you were in a room with them.
Right.
Yet another person you're in a room with. I don't know if you should share that with Tuff.
I know.
And you remember how they read your mind and were very powerful, and Zorak yielded to them. And you can also, now that you've seen so many of them, can tell that this person appears to be Durga in some way. Looks similar to what you saw when you were in Drekheim. And you enter this opening next to Don Renard and Zoki.
Oh, great, they're here.
I'm sorry, my friends. I was reckless. This creature thinks they are a keeper and is using the Flora de Vida.
Typical dog behavior.
Is the Flora de Vida the cause of all this? As Dax gestures around all the undead creatures.
And you hear a voice carry down the stairs as this figure slowly descends about halfway down.
Not the cause, but it certainly amplifies it.
Yeah, and who exactly are you, Oldie Locks?
Ooh, nice.
Got it.
Take that, Zach.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
At least one of you should recognize me, considering there is a keeper among us. Who is it?
Dax will just look around at the crew, trying to suss out who it is.
You are a foolish old man. These are... You are looking for a keeper, but you have not found a keeper. You have found the future of the keepers. You do not know who you have... The hornet's nest you have kicked. These are heroes. True heroes. All of them have traveled the nodes. Without alignment. You have invited into your home the very thing that will defeat you. I wonder what Nyakor would think of what you have done with the gift that she gave to my people.
You're wrong, Kitsune. It is true. Some of them bear the Elder Mark, but they are not yet keepers. Perhaps by some intervention, they have traveled an unaligned node once. But how they got here, only a keeper could do that. So I say again, who is the keeper?
Can you all roll me a will save?
A 29.
12.
I rolled a 30 last time though, and I still felt in my knees.
True.
12.
This guy is like mega souped up right now too.
Adam.
Ryan. Should we say it at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Nat one.
Oh no.
Come on.
Oh my.
Oh, man.
Just picture Jules and Tuff looking at each other.
You just
Welcome to the
drool
club,
comes
Adam.
down your lip and your eyes go cross-eyed.
Uh-oh.
The body is willing, but the will is weak.
A surge of power that you can't see but somehow feel just impacts your body, and you feel it infiltrate your mind. Dax, you instantly recognize this feeling, but it feels like different, more powerful, more invasive, and you all feel something sifting and swirling through your thoughts, invoking a response from you. And you can tell that your own brain is searching for words that you cannot seem to find, as you all have no idea who the keeper is amongst you. Jules and Tuff, as this hits you, you instantly fall to a knee and are exhausted. Like you simply have no fight or resistance in you after this. Walt and Dax, you stumble, maybe shaking your head, but all of you can truthfully say you do not know.
I don't know.
We're trying to find out.
I don't know.
I don't know. Hey, Dax, we might have to put that plan on hold.
I'll say.
This figure exhales like they're frustrated, looking down, and they continue to descend the steps as the soldiers start to part out of the way, creating a path in between you all. And as he's walking towards you confidently, as you're surrounded by soldiers and none of you feeling like you have any fight in you really after just feeling that hit you, feeling completely helpless, just wondering what this figure is going to say, confidently, slowly, powerfully walking towards you.
I have heard of this crew. You gave Sindor quite the trouble.
Looks to Jules.
I see you survived, Serapis. Either way, you served your purpose.
And you see him hold up a compass, tilting it in his hands slightly, puts it into his cloak,
And same to you, Dax.
knowing the corium that you got him.
Zig did not kill you after all, but the others I have not seen. 3 among you bear the elder mark, but you are not keepers. History holds the truth, even if you cannot see it.
And he holds up his hand, and his eyes flare blue, and he gestures his hand out towards all of you, and he says,
But I can.
and you all fall to your knees as you feel this energy just surging in your head.
Damn you.
As he invades all of your minds,
No.
sifting through your thoughts, starting with Renard.
So excited.
Renard, in your mind, you hear words pinging around.
Who are you?
That brings us to a young adult, Renard, standing in a school circle around the illustrious instructor Alejo Viento, demonstrating the Destreza de Viento fighting style. You are shoulder to shoulder with fellow comrades in training, and as Alejo rambles, demonstrating a very flamboyant fighting style, you feel a nudge in your side and look to your left and see Raul, your friend. His hair pulled back, no facial hair yet, looking young, optimistic, full of life. Have you ever seen anything more beautiful, my friend? As he gestures towards Alejo. Can you roll me a perception check before you respond?
Yes.
With a +4 circumstance bonus?
Let's do it. +4, 34.
Jeez, dude, you roll so high.
Not always.
And as Raul asks if you've seen anything more beautiful, gesturing towards your instructor, you instead gaze past him at Eliara. Is that how you say it?
Elara.
Young, beautiful, paying attention to the instruction, a fierce fighter, one of the best in the class, who holds all of your attention.
There is only one thing I find more beautiful than Destreza de Viento, and that is Elara. She is just as dangerous as she is graceful.
I must say, Renard, I did not think one's head could get any further in the clouds than Ciudad de la Nubes, but you have proven otherwise.
And you look, and your instructor, Alejo, is staring directly at you.
Forgive me, Maestro. I'm paying attention. I promise.
Raul chuckles, looking at you, gives you a wink.
So, Renard, de las Nubes?
And the crowd chuckles as he just called you Renard of the Clouds in jest as you were daydreaming amidst the instruction.
If you are paying attention, explain to me the importance of panache in the Destreza de Viento.
It is it allows us to when we do something graceful. We can if we do something graceful, then I can it gives us some advantages using our blades.
And he's like, he wants to he doesn't want to look bad in front of Ilara or
You
Raul.
see Ilara chuckling, but looking as if she admires your charisma and even watching you stumble over your words.
He has a moment where he says, Maestro, perhaps I cannot tell you, but I can show you. And he's going to try and do a flip up out of his seat and draw his sword as he does a backflip.
Can you roll me an acrobatics check?
I rolled a 2. It's a 15.
No. I guess you don't always roll well.
You do a backflip and land on a desk behind you. Almost stick the landing, but then the desk's chair wobbles and you fall on your back as the crowd chuckles yet again. And Alejo walks up.
Well, you certainly have spirit. Now let's see what you can do with a blade.
And he tosses you a training sword, which you snatch out of the air. And this blissful moment is interrupted by the chilling voice.
A trained warrior.
And we skip towards an older Renard who has graduated and is soaring in a formation atop Cervantes with his aerial squad that he commands through the skies, flanked by your friends, including Eliara and Raul. You have been placed in command of this squad, something that instantly created some animosity and jealousy between your longtime friend, Raul, And as you soar valiantly, you can see you are flying towards a massive zeppelin floating outside the city with cannons aimed towards your home as you lead a charge to defend your city.
Let us show them who owns the skies, my friends.
What is the plan of attack, Commander?
Says Elyara, looking at you with
Raoul
confidence.
and I will head straight ahead. Take them on at front, get their attention. The rest of you circle around and catch them from surprise at behind. We will pincer them together in the sky. They will not have a chance. Are you ready, my friend? The sky blade.
Raoul interjects.
No, we should take them from behind. What are you doing?
Get in line, Raoul. You are the best flyer of all of us. You can weave your way deftly through any kind of fire they can catch. Better we take their attention and keep the others safe.
He looks begrudgingly at you and reluctantly falls behind, and you get the sense that he may not follow your commands in this fight as you soar towards the zeppelin
makes a mental note that he's gonna have to talk to Raoul after they get back about in the midst of combat, talking back, just not acceptable.
And you soar towards this zeppelin for battle. Sky pirates, treasure hunters looking for your city. Your deep-rooted disdain for pirates is well-founded. And you hear,
a veteran eager to defend their home.
and we skip to shortly after the battle as Renard, you throw a lizardfolk sky pirate lord before the city council after a victorious battle, which you captured the captain of the Zeppelin. And the crowd looks at you, giving you approving nods, and the council says,
Pirate, this place cannot be found by accident. To ensure its safety and continued prosperity, we must ensure you are unable to share its whereabouts with anyone. However, we are a civilization of exceptional honor.
As they puff out their chests and everyone looks proudly like, yes, we are the best.
If you tell us how you learned of this place, we will allow you to leave here without your memory. Refuse, and you will die.
And you know this is a common practice where anyone that discovers the city, if they are spared, has their memory wiped magically. And the pirate, lizard folk, panting, spits out some blood on the ground. And he slowly turns, looks over his shoulder, and points at Raoul behind you as the crowd gasps and Raoul starts to back up and looks as though he's about to run as a army of guards grab him by the arms, and he starts to flail and yell as they're dragging him past you, Renard.
Tell me it is not true.
I'll try and calm him down.
Please. It cannot be true. You must be mistaken. Raoul, he is lying, yes?
You truly do have your head in the clouds, Renard.
And they drag him away as they take him to be dealt with. And you hear,
a man who knows betrayal.
And we skip forward in time to an evening at the Kianos Villa, your home. You are now a Dawn after leading many successful battles. You are a veteran, a well-respected member of the community, and you raise a toast to your wife, Elyara, as your children run and play, enacting battles that they've heard from their father. Take that, sky pirates, as they jump on chairs and try and use panache and do flips and battle with wooden swords. And your wife smiles at you.
To the Doña Elyara, the true Flora of my heart. I would not be the man I am today if not for you, and you have always outwitted me at every turn, and I would have it no other way. I guess he's maybe celebrating their anniversary or something like that, if he's making a toast to her. I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah.
Of all the honors I have experienced in my life, the greatest has been to have you by my side and to be by yours.
From day one, you have been one who rambles, Renard.
And she winks at you, and you think back to the time you met her in class and you're rambling to the instructor, and she goes to cheers and says,
at least this time you stuck the landing with that one.
And she smiles.
Nice.
And you hear,
a man with something to fight for.
And we skip further forward in time. Don Renard flying over Nisserine with his wife, the island of Nisserine, as your city floats nearby. enjoying the beauty of this island, looking at one another, having fun, reliving the days of your youth as you trained together, flew together in battles before retiring or taking up a more respective administrative position within the city. But suddenly a massive drake soars through the clouds, Desmar, a desert drake who pursues you on Cervantes. Cervantes' eyes bug out of his face as a massive tail whips him and knocks you unconscious as you fall from your beloved companion in Hippogriff, and you awake back on the surface of Ciudad de la Nubes, looking at Eliara, who is holding your head. Renard!
Don't yell at her. You are safe, you are all right? Cervantes?
Yes.
Where is Cervantes?
Slowly looks down, shakes her head, and looks back up at you with a ton of empathy in her eyes.
He gets up, like wounded still, and like it kind of pushes her off, and he goes,
Cervantes!
like he's looking in the sky, looking all around. He falls to his knees.
And you hear,
A man who knows loss and despises failure.
and we move forward in time. As Don Renard, you guard the Flora de Vida, a great honor on Nova de Gracia, Night of Thanks, the day in which you celebrate Nyakor rescuing the city with the Flora de Vida. There is perhaps no greater honor for a soldier than to guard the Flora de Vida on this night, and only soldiers of profound status can guard it even at all. So as you hear the faint sounds of celebration, you sit in the depths of the city in a massive open cavern with water flowing through it, and you sit on a rock looking at this beautiful flower glowing a brilliant blue, just truly magnificent beauty as you soak in its aura and power. And as you do so, you hear a familiar voice.
Head in the clouds. Again, Don Renard.
And you turn and see Raoul, who last you knew had their mind wiped and was exiled from the city forever and should be unable to recall the city at all, let alone know how to find it, know the Flora de Vida, and know how to access the caverns, considering their mind was wiped.
If it were anyone else, I would be surprised. What are you doing here, Raoul? Is your shame not great enough already that you would come and repeat the mistakes of your past?
I envy your gift of ignorance, Don Renard. I've seen Caldora. I know things. This Flora de Vida is wasted here. This recluse civilization, this pompous kingdom, it is no more. Now, draw your blade.
And he pulls out his rapier.
Reynard will draw his sword and he'll say, there are things in this life you should have known, my friend. To have a family, to know honor in your community. Know whatever you have found in the world, you will never know that now.
Your family will wish they had their mind wiped the same as me when they realize they have lost the great Don Renard.
And he rushes to meet you, and the two of you clash swords in this violent, fast-paced fight. And over time, you realize Raoul is taking a uncharacteristically defensive stance, and in your rage and fury, you realize he has simply been buying time. And you look to the Flora de Vida and see a blue kobold ripping it from the soils and sprinting out of the cavern.
No!
Your head was in the clouds again, Don Renard.
And he simply flips in front of you, blocking you from the door, and you continue to fight your way and eventually are able to knock Raoul to the side as you sprint after this kobold, make your way to the surface, see all celebration party interrupted as if some sort of civil war has broken out. You don't know who is on your side, who is loyal, and you simply rush after this kobold that jumps off the side, skydiving from the city. You, without Cervantes, without a mount, shamed that you have lost the Flora de Vida, determined to get it back, dive off without anything to brace your fall. Skydiving after this kobold, you see a parachute on their back, hoping maybe you can get the Florida Vita, get the parachute for yourself. You're wrestling with this kobold. Oh, watch it, man. Oh, man, you're trying to ruin this whole thing. And you're tumbling through the air, and you grip their wrists, are about to grab the Florida Vita, and you see the kobold's eyes flicker and a grin on their face. We're not alone here, man. And you turn over your shoulder and see Raoul soaring after you on this massive bat-like creature, electric energy dancing around them as it soars towards you, and you see a massive claw tear at your back as you tumble away, falling through the air, losing sight of this kobold, and splash down in a massive lake and go unconscious. And sometime later, find yourself washed up on shore, covered in mud, battered, bruises. Climb to your feet, catch your breath, look around, draw your blade, feel it tremble and shake as you search for the Florida Vita. Make your way through a clearing of trees and lay eyes upon the city of Mazivo. And you hear,
"A man on a quest of redemption."
And you feel this presence leave your mind and make their way to Dax. Dax, you feel this familiar feeling as your mind is flipped through, seeing all that you've done since you last saw him on Drogadun, obviously knowing much of your past, though maybe didn't inspect all of it. And, of course, the listeners know all that Dax has been up to as this person pours through your mind. Occasionally you hear them pick up on something.
Unatentum, an Erakai not of Desilis, Dunadast, the Arcanor, Sindor. But you are just a scavenger, so why were you given the Elder Mark? Who are you?
Your mind is scattered about, your memories sifted through until you feel there's no memories left to observe, as if it's reached the origin of Dax. And you can see an egg, but this egg is covered in cobwebs and dust and dirt. Looks like it's been here for a long time. And this egg has etchings all over it, very intricate. Dax, you would know this doesn't really look like a typical kobold egg. And you're not even really sure how you can observe this. It's almost like it's a memory that is there deeply, but like you don't remember it. And there's just traces of it in your mind. And this egg is gripped by a skeleton of another kobold. And this kobold is long since dead, also covered in cobwebs and dirt. And then you see this figure, the one that is invading your mind, walking about your memory. And they crouch down next to this skeleton, tilts their head looking at the egg, sees an arrow, more specifically a crossbow bolt, in the back of this skeleton, and they pull it out and observe the arrow, tilting it side to side.
This is of my people, the first dwarves of Drakis.
And he looks at the kobold, and after tossing the bolt to the side,
this kobold knew Theragun.
And he looks at the egg, and the egg starts to glow reddish orange and crack and fissure as a little hatchling Dax crawls out of the egg and starts to scurry off, just kobold instincts, searching for shelter as the figure watches you run away.
But why are you so special? What does Theragun have planned for you?
And you feel the presence leave your mind and go to Waltz. Again, the listeners know Waltz's story. And as this figure sifts through Waltz's thoughts, you hear more compelling points as he says,
"The Fade, Mandaru, Drakes, Divine Magic, Tradesis, Visions of the Future, the Gameltor,
and all the memories they've been sifting through just screeches to a halt as you see them in detail observe the memory Waltz has of going back in time, essentially, seeing Kid Waltz speaking with his mother, who tells him about the Gameltor and that he was chosen and that she too wields the Gameltor. And as he listens, he simply says,
"And why would she succumb to the fade if she had the foresight to avoid it? And what does the Gameltor have planned for you? And what will you see?"
And you feel the presence leave your mind and move to Jules. Again, sifting through Jules' story, and the figure says,
"Sidonia, Bard, Exile, the Black Dawn, Septum Solis, and there is that tune again. Where did you learn this?"
And it slams through your memory, landing on Kid Jules, playing his melody in the throne room in front of Zeke and Kyra, the innate melody you've always known, the one you've been seeking to perfect.
"Where did you learn this?"
And you feel the presence moving through all your memories, not finding a single point in which you've learned it, knowing that it was just innately there and nobody taught it to you.
"And you play this to crowds like a common melody played for silver and gold."
As he finds the memory of you playing it in the tavern to distract Captain Perry.
"But you have never completed it, and I must ensure you never do."
And the presence leaves your mind and takes us to Tuff. And we haven't done Tuff's origin yet, so I won't spoil too much.
Ooh.
As this person raids through his mind. But they do stop on a very particular memory they find very interesting. As Tuff looks in Dunadast's journal at the schematics for the Arcanor.
Uh-oh.
As he studies them.
Interesting. What else did Dunadast teach you?
And he goes further back to your childhood and finds a memory of Tuff at Garanar, the university on Norvik, as Tuff approaches a group of young kids that are shooting a low-powered rifle at targets and laughing, having fun. This is a type of place where people might design new firearms, test them out as a university of study, of course, and this is just a simple training rifle, kind of like a BB gun in this world as these kids are having fun. And Tuff, you walk up, eager to play.
"Hey guys, I'm a pretty good shot. Can I give it a try?"
"What, huh?" They look. It's kids of all ancestries, humans, gnomes, dwarfs, things like
Turtle.
that. Turtle, folk, good job, Taryn. Yep. "Why? Did Dunadast just install a targeting chip or something?" "Yeah, can you even have fun? Automatons don't even have emotions."
Good one, guys. But yeah, no, I can have fun. Dunadast and I have fun together all the time.
"Why don't you execute your get lost function?"
Well, I don't really have that, actually, but I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, we're definitely serious. Sorry, Tin Boy, but you have to have a soul to play with us. They just all high-five each other. Just the worst kids ever. And
Zach.
Tuff's cat ears will just kind of like droop down, and his whiskers will droop and just kind of look down towards the floor and make his way back to Dunadast's lab.
Tuff, you push open the door, maybe sulk into the lab. There's beakers everywhere, books, chalkboards, parchments, all sorts of work being conducted. As a spry Dunadast, doesn't even need glasses yet, is working out equations on the board, moving back and forth, no hunch in his back whatsoever yet. And he looks over and sees you sulking in the chair, perhaps crying a little bit.
Tuff will sniffle.
Hey, Dunadast.
"Yes, what is it?"
We have a lot of fun in this lab, and I like creating things, learning new things, and I'm excited about all the new things that we build together. But well, I wonder what it's all for. And I can't ever seem to connect with anyone. And sometimes I just wonder what purpose I serve outside of helping you build things. And I gotta know why. Why did you even make me to begin with, Dunadas?
Oh, son. And he drops to a knee, puts his hand on your shoulder, looks at you with just the utmost affection, empathy, care, just a very gentle personality. Over his shoulder, you can see a little bit of steam coming off a hot pot of coffee behind him, and he just looks at you.
It is true, I designed you. The same way any parent designs their child, only where they use their genetics, I used science, and with that I made sure you did not inherit these cumbersome ears. And he flickers with his fingers, his big primate ears, trying to make you laugh a little bit. But even still, just like those parents, there is one thing I could never have created, but you instead inherited from a power far greater than me. You see, I did not make you. It is your soul.
And he gestures to the power core in your chest.
My soul?
Yes, I did not build it, but it chose you because you are special and destined for great things.
Tuff will just wipe his eyes.
So those other kids are wrong. I do have a soul.
And this blissful moment is interrupted with
your soul.
And you feel your body invaded in a way. Like this power is moving towards this core of yours. And suddenly you are observing this figure standing in a void. You have perspective of this, but it's not a memory of yours. And somehow, just innately, you can tell they are within your core. And the figure says,
I thought you were dead, Raucous.
And another figure steps into the light of this void, and you see a tall, slender catfolk with long, wispy beard flowing in the wind, Nick's cuts, dressed in a very agile manner, very powerful presence and posture as they approach this figure.
You killed my body, Gothram, not my spirit.
And as you hear this, Tuff, that voice sounded familiar, and suddenly you realized, although you weren't conscious in that moment, that was the voice that spoke through you on the node.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
And Gothram, who has just been named by this catfolk Raucous, furrows their brow.
And now you hide in Balthazar's phylactery. Something like that. And I see you have endured as well. It seems we are both reluctant to relinquish our power. As we should be, but I have been seeking an heir all this time. Have you? What I seek is a solution. Or have you forgotten our true purpose, Raucous? Is that what you call the destruction of Lorthal? A solution? I'd sooner destroy its nodes. All the old magic in Keldora could not achieve such a feat. Then we'll find another way. Together. I wonder, where was this sense of unity when Brother Droga sought to tame the dragons? With them, victory would be certain. You mean enslave? We're meant to be guardians, not warlords. We're meant to be whatever Keldora needs us to be. Droga knew this, and for that, the Keepers cast him out.
You see Raucous thinking,
Droga, huh? Is that what sustains you?
And Gothram simply exhales, lowering his head mischievously.
I see. So you do your master's bidding then. Droga is a means to an end. Soon he will do my bidding. Huh. Well, you certainly sound like him, Gothram. Or should I call you Omahatif? Do you have anything of value, Raucous, before I destroy you and those that bear the mark?
Raucous furrows his brow.
You won't destroy them. I have seen their minds, and it is clear they will oppose me. Why wouldn't I kill them? Because you want power above all. How else would you rid yourself of Droga? Unlike the Alvirium, you can't hide from him for long. Not while he holds your soul. Speak plainly, Ruckus. The Elder Blade.
Gothram gets annoyed.
What of it? One of the components no longer exists. I have the compass and have seen for myself. Even Corium failed to sustain the blade without it. All of the components remain, and I know the one the compass cannot find. Impossible. Say it in Elder so I know you speak the truth.
Ruckus exhales.
Sio ubi, invenius partum tuum, absentis.
Gothram pauses, pacing.
Very well, and what do you want for it? Give the disciples of Flora de Vita. Ensure they leave Lorthal with time to return it to its soil. Give the Keepers another chance to stop the Alvirium without destroying Lorthal. And what if they fail? Well, if you're half as powerful as you think you are, the Alvirium should be no match for you and the Elder Blade, especially after siphoning the Flora de Vita's power. You have the optimism of a fool, Ruckus. You'd give your enemy the Elder Blade and wager the fate of Keldora on those who have not even taken the oath. Yes. Besides, the oath must not count for much if you took it, Gothram. Very well. Forfeit your spirit to me and I will fulfill your request. In Elder, Gothram. Da mahi spiritum tum admi, et facium ut petis.
Ruckus nods, pleased, but looks somewhat somber.
Good. I hope you've selected your heir, Ruckus.
As Gothram starts to walk off, and Ruckus looks directly at you, Tough, somehow, in a way you don't understand, and says,
I have, in more ways than one.
And all of you are snapped from this trance.
Oh.
Whoa. Jeez.
As Gothram starts to walk away, turns, and looks back.
I have found the Keeper among you.
And he raises his hand towards Tough. Tough, you start to shake and vibrate in place. All of you can tell he's under immense pain, under complete control of this figure. And you start to see light pouring out from him in the cracks of his automaton body, in between the plates, the bolts, as energy is being siphoned from him, and you see multiple translucent whips reaching forward and then converging on a single point, and they start to create a faint figure of a tall catfolk that is forming in place as more energy is siphoned around them, but it looks as though it's connected to Tough in some way. And the figure looks back at all of you as Tough does not seem to be present, scanning Jules, Waltz, and Dax, and says,
Septum solis, tredesis, undavig, unortantum. 7th from the sun, 13, 19, only together. You are not keepers yet, but you could be. I do not know who chose Ryu, but I have chosen Tough as your 4th in his stead.
And then he looks to Reynard.
You, Don Renard, are not chosen by a keeper, but by fate. So consider yourself the keeper of Ciudad de la Nubes. Nyakor's not coming this time. These disciples are all you have, and with them you must succeed. And do not forget, the Flora de Vita may reside amidst the clouds, but it was given to all Keldora. Good luck.
And he steps away as the whips detach from Tough and his body falls over lifeless. No glow resonating from him whatsoever.
Tough, get up, Tough.
And the spirit walks towards Gothram, gives him a nod, and Gothram clenches his fist as the spirit swirls around him, and that is where we'll end. Session. Holy crap, guys.
There's
I don't
a
even
lot
have
of
the
meat to dig into, guys.
I don't even have the energy to tell you guys to shut up right now. I'm sorry, I just read at you guys for an hour, but
dude, the lore.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
Oh man, hopefully I can talk tomorrow.
Is
That's
that
a
why
lot
they
of
call it Lorthal?
raspy voices, Batman sounding
Nice
voices.
show.
I'm not gonna be able to talk tomorrow. But yeah. Shut up, guys. I'll shut up. Okay. Phew. Let me just read a couple comments online real quick.
Yeah, because he hasn't read enough.
Yeah,
Am I right, guys?
Yeah, popcorn someone else, Zach.
Do you guys like watching me
Right,
play
Joel.
my own campaign by myself? Because that was fun for me.
Yeah.
All right, let's read a couple more Spotify comments. You know, as I said last episode, Spotify lets you guys comment on episodes. Super fun. I really appreciate just like any feedback on an episode. Always a cool experience to just, you know, hear your guys' thoughts and things like that.
Go on.
Oh, I like this one because this came up a lot. Had to find it. So on season 2, episode 3, Worth a Shot, someone commented, but couldn't Digsby's crew just kill Geldir and throw him overboard? Because everyone kept saying like, well, we can't show up to Mazevo with a dead body. And, you know, you're right, they could have done that, but here's my headcanon on that, which is like how I justify it. Really? Did you think Digsby's crew had the heart to kill Geldir in cold blood and throw him overboard? So doesn't it make sense that they'd be like, look guys, we can't kill him, like, right? Like, isn't this a good enough excuse? And everyone's like, yeah, you're right, that's a good point. I don't know, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Would you guys really kill Geldir and throw him overboard?
I think we should go with that and not the fact that we didn't think that we could
Right.
just throw
Okay.
him
Certainly not that that never crossed my mind.
I think
This is
that-
also
do
the
that.
same
Oh, my
episode where Adam decided that fridges exist. And
Yeah.
Taryn even doubled down and added a fridge sound effect of you opening and closing the fridge. So sometimes we forget the context of what's going on, but you know what? Just thank you. We appreciate it. But that's the justification, right? They didn't have the heart, so they came up with a weak excuse and they all accepted it because they know deep down they didn't want to do it. Unless you did want to do it tough. I don't know. If anyone wanted to
I
kill
like
him,
that
it'd be
you-
Waltz, though.
True. I like that you blamed it on me because I invented a fridge.
Yeah. Yep. That's why.
And that's why.
But I
That's
put the sound effect in there for you.
Darren, did you like pause
Thanks-
for a moment,
thanks,
like
Darren.
before you did it, like a fridge, or were you just like, yeah, fridge, and then like went and got
Well, no, I was like, oh, I'll put it in there, and if Zach wants to delete it, he could just delete it.
it? I didn't catch it until like way later, and I was like, oh yeah, fridge, yeah, interesting. All right,
We
But
should
yeah.
see how much other new tech we could just sneak in the episode.
Yeah,
without
what-
Zach
what-
realizing.
We'll get by.
yeah. Start getting some like cars and stuff.
who's got the iPod Nano? Yeah, Nano. Ooh, whoa, 2008. I don't know. Anyways, yeah,
know if
even
they have
those
sound
comments we
effects
like.
for that.
Let us know your thoughts. Really appreciate it, and we will see you next time, mortals.
Yep, 17 hit points. That's 48. Oh, shoot. I'm so sorry. Scratch that. I was reading the critical success. Dang it.
That's all right. Just stick with that one though.
I mean, we might as well at this point. What are we going to do? Cut it? Take the time to cut it?
we don't have the film for it, so keep it.